Hi, it's Jan Beta, and today we are going to take a look at the new retro system that is the Aquarius Plus. The Aquarius Plus is a new open source retro system that is modeled after the original Mattel Aquarius from 1983 that is fully compatible, or mostly compatible, as we're going to see, with the original hardware that the Mattel Aquarius connected to, the software, and it also incorporates a lot of the perks of the modern world, like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, USB connectivity, more RAM, better graphics than the original machine, while still maintaining compatibility. We're going to take a look at this. This is the form factor. It comes in a nice square little box. This is my hand in comparison. This is approximately the size of two Raspberry Pis or thereabouts. It has a lot of connectivity that we're going to talk about, and we're also going to take a look at how this actually works. This whole project is very well documented. There's a wiki on GitHub. There's a GitHub with all the schematics and parts lists and software that you need to run this. It is a system that has BASIC running on it from the start, an updated version of Microsoft BASIC. The original Aquarius came with Microsoft BASIC pre-installed in ROM, and this has a slightly modified version of that. It is still compatible with the original Mattel Aquarius BASIC, but it has some modern twists to it, as we're going to see. First impressions, this is a really well thought through system, and it also looks pretty nice in this, I think, resin printed case. We're going to take a look at that in a second. This whole project was conceived by Frank Vandenhoef and Sean Harrington. Frank is pretty well known to the retro community as the creator of the Vera graphics chip or graphics PCB for the Commander X16 project. And Sean is also involved in this and contacted me and actually sent me one of these to make a video about, which I am super grateful for. These things are available from a Facebook group for $250, which is a reasonable price, I think, for a system like this. If you want this exact thing, you pay $250 for this. Also comes with a pre-installed SD card, I believe. At least mine came with that. And considering that the original Mattel Aquarius go for a lot more these days on platforms like eBay, I think it is a reasonable price for a project of this scale, which is, of course, as all these retro systems are, relatively small scale operation. Not a huge number of units are being produced. The makers of this project also encourage others to build these, sell these. So this is truly open source. There are no restrictions whatsoever on the hardware or the software. That's very, very nice in my opinion. That's the way to go for the retro community. So let's take a look at this. It comes with an SD card, nicely labeled with the Aquarius Plus logo. It is kind of modeled after the original Aquarius, just of course it doesn't have a keyboard. You can attach a USB keyboard, which I've already sitting here. It connects to the original Aquarius controllers. Unfortunately, these DB9 ports here are not compatible with like other DB9 controllers yet. So far, this is compatible with the original controllers, which are of course also not that easy to find. We have some tape connectors here. This is the tape output and the tape input, so you can run original cassette tapes for the Aquarius. This also comes with the original printer port, which is a stereo phono plug, I believe. These are mono plugs for the tape, and it has some modern connectivity. First of all, this has a very crisp VGA output, which is super nice. It has a stereo audio jack here, which you can connect to speakers. It has a USB port for USB keyboards. I think mouse support is also being worked on. And this is the power input, which is USB. They recommend a standard 5-volt USB power supply that at least delivers 2.1 amps. This is an on-off switch. This is the off position. This is the on position. We have an Aquarius compatible cartridge port on the side here. This is compatible with all the game cartridges. The software cartridges are compatible. RAM cartridges don't work as of yet because this already has 512K of RAM on board, so RAM cartridges don't make much sense anyway. And also there are some expansion cartridges that don't work with this, so this is not 100% compatible, but it is compatible with all the standard game and software cartridges available for the original Aquarius, which is super nice. Some cartridges have like an extra sound chip on there. They won't work because they use the same I/O addresses that the Aquarius already uses. Internally, this already emulates two separate sound chips, so you don't really need the expansions that won't work on this expansion port. And the other stuff is just going to work. We also have a power LED, which is a nice touch. I think because this is a hardware-focused channel mostly, I'm just going to pop this open and take a look inside as my first step. So this just has 4 Phillips screws here and the case should just open up after removing these. I think this is an FPGA based system. I hope I don't destroy this, otherwise this is going to be a very short video. Oh, we didn't take a look at the back. There's a serial number and a manufacturing date here, and this also has a little fix applied that all the systems that you buy now should have already pre-installed. Let's see. Yay! Yeah, this is indeed designed around a Spartan 6 FPGA chip that is in the center here. There's a RAM chip, 512K, but there's also a genuine Z80 or Z80, depending on where you're from, CPU. These are still being produced in all kinds of form factors. Even the original 40-pin, I believe, DIP chip is still in production. And these are still compatible with the original Z80 CPUs, believe it or not. So this is a real CPU. I know some people are very keen on having retro systems using the real thing. Probably you could have implemented a Z80 in the Spartan, but yeah. This has a genuine one, which is a nice touch, of course. Some logic here, some little diodes, voltage regulation for the modern chips that need 3.3 volts and 1.2 volts. And then we have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth module, I believe, and our inputs and outputs. 2 little filter caps here for the voltage supply, and that's about it. We have some headers here, which are jumpers, and the connectors. So there's not too much going on here. Most of the magic is happening in the Spartan FPGA chip, and the CPU, of course, is the CPU for the system. Do we have anything on the back? Probably not. Nope, but it's signed. Probably that's an S. Could be an F. I don't know who made this, Sean or Frank. But that's a nice touch. This is the signature edition, is what it's called, I think. If you buy this from the original creators of this, you get the signed version, which has a signature on the board and also a little printed signature on the serial number sticker here. That's pretty much all I can say about this layout and the system itself. It is, of course, going to be super difficult to solder this yourself. This is a very fine pitch surface mount chip. The other chips are probably not that much of a problem, although everything is surface mount on this board except for the connectors. But there are options to have your PCB manufacturing house populate these surface mount chips with their pick and place machines, and that's probably the way to go if you want to make one of these yourself or just buy one pre-made, which is the easiest option, but could be more expensive than making it yourself. I didn't do the math on that. Okay, let's put this back together. Super easy to take apart. As I said, nicely designed to be kind of serviceable. If you want to replace the surface mount electrolytic capacitors in 40 years, you can do so. Okay, let's take a look at what this thing can do, actually. Yeah, I've connected this to a USB power supply now, a USB keyboard, connected the VGA to my monitor here directly without any upscaling or anything like that. Let's just turn this on. And as you can see, we have a crisp basic screen like we had on the original Aquarius, and can hit the return key And we get into the Microsoft Basic derivative here. If you want your own Aquarius Plus, one option, of course, is to have the PCB and also the case produced by your favorite PCB manufacturer. My favorite PCB manufacturer, as many of you know, is PCBWay, who are also sponsoring this video. Thanks for that. If you want any PCBs or 3D prints or sheet metal fabrication done, I highly recommend checking out the link in the video description. PCBWay delivers very high quality in all these fields and the pricing is super reasonable. Thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. Back to the Aquarius. This is what you are greeted with after hitting the return key or the enter key on your modern USB keyboard that you connected. And this is the updated version of the SD card this comes with. We have a ROMs folder. You have some modern commands here like cd change directory and the directory command, of course, that I already used, which makes it very easy to navigate here. You can also do just things like ... to go into the parent directory and things like that, like you are used to from your modern system. And yeah, we can do CD-ROMs and see what's in there. There are some original Aquarius ROMs in there that we can just run with the run command. So yeah, you can just run these ROMs, which are, I think, originally these are cartridges. Yeah, it says cartridge in the title screen even. And you can just run these from the SD card, which is super cool. I don't have any controller hooked up yet. You can push Control Escape to do a soft reset. And you can also quit basic programs by using the Control-C command. And this can run several formats for software, like AQX is a standard, I think, machine code program. It can also run tape programs. It can run basic programs and all the things you are used to from an emulator for the Aquarius. There is also an emulator for the Aquarius Plus, actually, that you can download for all common systems, Linux, macOS, Windows. And this is actually a Tetris clone that makes use of the modernized graphics and sound output from the Aquarius. I don't have sound hooked up yet. I should hook up a speaker to this. I have hooked up my little JBL portable speaker here for now. And you can hear the AY music. That is stereo, I believe. In real life, this is only a mono speaker that connects to the stereo thing, so we should hear all the channels. This is pretty neat. The hardware has been updated to support sprites and bitmaps and modern graphics, or modernish graphics things. That's why this looks so good. The original Aquarius games were just very blocky in comparison, obviously. There's a lot of things to discover on this little SD card. There's a gauntlet clone, it seems. And we can load stuff with the load command. That's what you have to do for basic programs, I believe. Just like you would if you were loading this from tape. You can list the basic program. Yeah, that's the basic program with a sprite. Or with a lot of sprites, actually. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to wrap your head around with this system. It is fun to play with, indeed. And it is recommended by the makers of this to check out the emulator first, which is going to give you this very system on a modern computer to tinker with and to check it out. If you want the hardware, you can buy this or have it made, or make it yourself even, if you dare, because it is open source, as I said. This runs BASIC from the moment you turn it on, so you can just program away as you would on an original system. Not so easy to type at an angle. And yeah, this is compatible with Microsoft Basic, so a very standard BASIC dialect that many people know, at least partially. these days if they were ever using BASIC in the past, which I have. Commodore BASIC is also a derivative of Microsoft BASIC. That works beautifully. And of course there are some more sophisticated commands in this BASIC dialect because they upgraded the graphics and sound hardware quite a bit, and you can also access this through basic commands and program sprites and things like that, as we've seen in the other listing there. But there's more upgrades to this system compared to the original Aquarius, of course. You have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connectivity, and we're going to connect this to my Wi-Fi now, I think. And then I'm also going to try to connect a Bluetooth controller to this. This should work with Xbox standard controllers, so X input controllers should work with this, I guess. And yeah, of course, USB keyboards, and you can also use wireless keyboards with a little USB dongle without any problems, I believe. So that's all modern stuff. SD card, of course, you can use standard FAT formatted SD cards in this and copy files across from your modern system to this through the SD card. But I believe you can also set up a file server on Wi-Fi and things like that, which makes this blend into the modern world quite nicely. Pretty cool. Okay, let's try and connect this to my home Wi-Fi here. We should be able to run the Wi-Fi setup by just running ESP :settings. Yeah, we can type help, it seems, for a listing, and we can type Wi-Fi set, as easy as that. Scanning networks. I'm probably going to blur the list of networks here for the privacy of myself and my neighbors, but you can just type in the number of the network you want to connect to, which in my case is 0. That's probably the strongest network, and I'm typing my password, and that is connected to Wi-Fi, I guess. Let's see. We can now enter Wi-Fi. We should be permanently connected to my Wi-Fi network here, and we can type the update gh command from GitHub. Update gh is the system update over internet, and you can also use the SD card as the update source by just typing update. We need to know the firmware version from GitHub. Current version seems to be version 0.24a. And now the update should be running. Yeah, as easy as that. So we're updating from version 0.18c to 24a. It's showing me the progress. This is all very modern stuff. It's now updating the firmware over my Wi-Fi here from GitHub. Of course, this is a young system, kind of, so there's a lot of updates. Every other week or so there's something that's updated. And yeah, we have a successful update here. Enter to reboot. Yeah, system 024a. And the plus basic is also updated. Yeah, that's something you couldn't do with your old system, obviously. You would have to burn a new EEPROM or things like that. Let's go back into the settings. Yeah, and now it's February 10, 2024. This is 2 days ago, I believe. Pretty recent. This is the new firmware version. And we can also set the date and time, of course, over Wi-Fi. I think it should do that automatically. Yep, it did. That's the actual time. And we can set the time zone, which is Europe in my case. And we are most of Western Europe. I'm in Germany, so it's 5. CET and CEST. Central European time, it's Central European summertime. Setting time zone done. Nice. Yeah, now we're in the correct time zone. Pretty modern feature for a system like this. If you'd like to know more about this system and how this thing works, you can check out the GitHub that is going to be linked in the video description, and you can also become a member of the Facebook group that I'm also going to link in the video description. I'm not in there because I'm not really using Facebook these days, but there is quite a nice Facebook group, I've been told. So check that out if you're interested in the system and maybe want to participate and contribute to the making and development of this system. There is a huge portion of the GitHub that is aimed at developers. The new graphics and sound capabilities are detailed there, and there's also kind of a development guide, so you get to know ways to actually make software for this thing. I'm not much of a programmer, so I don't understand most of that, but there's a nice guide on how to become a developer for the system, which of course you can also use the emulator for, but I'm more of a user, and as a user I have to say this is pretty convincing so far. And as I mentioned in passing, you can also use a mouse on this system now. I'm not quite sure if I have any software that supports that yet, but the original controllers are kind of analog in nature, I think, so that would make sense. Let's try to connect a Bluetooth controller to this thing. So we can use Xbox Series S or X controllers with the Aquarius. We should be able to pair my little 8BitDo controller with this because it should be compatible with the Xbox. I think. We're going to see. So I have one of these 8BitDo controllers which can do all kinds of things. I'm primarily using this on my Switch, but it should be possible to connect this to this, I guess. I'm just turning off the Aquarius, turning on the Aquarius, turning this controller on in the Xbox setting, holding down my pair button, I think, and it should pair. Nope, it's not pairing. This, of course, isn't an Xbox X controller. Let's try that again. Yeah, so the next thing I need is an Xbox controller or an Aquarius Plus controller. This one doesn't seem to be compatible. I tried. It should, in theory, be as easy as that. Not sure if an update to this is going to fix that. I just think it's a hardware thing. This is a rather old Bluetooth controller. I'm not much into modern gaming, so I don't have many modern Bluetooth controllers, I'm afraid. Yeah, but the theory is, and I guess it is going to work, you just have to pair your Bluetooth controller, your modern Xbox S or X controller with this that I apparently don't have. So I'm stuck with this with the keyboard, which is good enough at this point. A bit sad that I can't show you any gaming action really, but we're going to take a look at some games nevertheless. So some original games that are on here, and of course you can download ROMs from the usual sources for the original Aquarius games. You find all of them, I guess, online. They should all just run fine on here. There's Utopia, Term of Office, Length of Round. Yeah, these are the original Aquarius games, and everything should work just as on your original Aquarius. I can't do much with these original games because I don't have a controller that's working. And I think, yeah, I can't even enter the number of players. And I can't use the keyboard to control this, unfortunately. But as you can see, the games run fine. So if anyone has a spare Aquarius controller, that would be super nice to try. But I don't have any at this point. But I still can show you the stuff that's running. And some of the modern games that are on here should be controllable with the keyboard, like the Tetris clone we've seen. Woo! Use joystick to select. Oh. Press button to choose. We don't have a joystick, I'm afraid. Yeah, so can't show you more than this at this point. This prints a Mandelbrot set on screen and seemingly calculates it in the background, which is pretty cool. Takes a while, of course, but it's probably a lot faster than the original system would be able to do this. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and you can see that the screen resolution on the Aquarius Plus is much higher than on the original Aquarius. This is just a demo of a new splash screen. Is that a basic program? Yeah. So this is an introduction to the Aquarius color and graphics theory. Let's see. This is the palette, Aquarius color palette, and the 50% halftone character. Okay, there's a character to have halftones on the Aquarius. That's pretty neat. That's old school. Gradient colors. We have RGB values with the gradients here. Don't let the Aquarius graphics set restrict your creativity. Yeah, and this is some examples for animations that are possible with the basic graphics tiles. Block cells. And this is actually the old original Aquarius graphics, I believe. This is what the original graphics looked like. These are from a well-known franchise. Oh, these are In-You-Foot games. It's a collection of games, climb ladders, and the controls are listed here. This is pretty cool. So we can play some of those smaller games here. Yeah. It's a very limited shoot 'em up. Nice. So I can play these basic games at least. And this is a collection of those. Oh, I crashed. Yeah, things like this are, of course, possible. They are like the original games for the Aquarius. Let's check out some music. Nice. Very nice retro sound. And I believe these are two emulated AY chips, like Yamaha sound chips, classic sound chips, which are implemented in the FPGA. The sound quality is super nice. It sounds super old school, of course. Yeah, you get the idea, I guess. Oh, high resolution color tile map graphics along with sprites. Nice. You must control escape to exit the demo once running. Okay, ooh. Okay, that's pretty impressive. I mean, this is not a game. I can't really do anything. No, I can't do anything. This is just a demo, just a tech demo. This very much looks like at least the Master System version of Sonic. It's even a bit closer to the Mega Drive or Genesis version, I guess. Pretty colorful, lots of sprites, smooth scrolling. So this is something that was definitely not possible on the original Aquarius. This uses the features, the enhanced graphics and sound features, or graphics in this case, of this new Aquarius Plus. This is a keyboard-controlled game, okay. So there are some games being made as we speak for this system. Let's go up. Oh, I crashed into the wall again. Okay, this is just a little thing. Yeah, there's so much stuff to check out. There seems to be a version of CPM in the works. Go CPM. Let's try to check out the CPM version that's on here. CPM 2.2 for Aquarius Plus. Yeah, this is like a proto-DOS. Some people claim that most of MS-DOS was actually stolen from the CPM disk operating system. This was a very common system in the early 80s. And yeah, it seems to run on the Aquarius Plus. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with CPM. Can I exit? No. I don't know my CPM, but this is a version of CPM that's probably not fully implemented yet, but it even has 80 columns, graphics, and things like that. So yeah, there's a lot of things possible. CPM is an operating system that's designed for the Z80 CPU in the first place. So this has a modern Z80 in there, so it should be able to run CPM without any issues. And that's what somebody did. And these are just examples. Of course, you can run more software on this and program your own based on the type-in game from the April 1982 edition of Computing Today. Nice. Classic game. The Valley. Find treasure, fight monsters. Character's name is Jan. Choose carefully. Ooh, I'm a barbarian. Jan the barbarian. Okay. A hit. I killed the monster. There's a lot of orcs here. Okay, this is like a very old school RPG style game. Yeah, this is a super fun system to play with, and you can already do a lot of things like program basic stuff and run the software that is available for the Aquarius and also the software that is being programmed for this new iteration of the Aquarius. The GitHub says this is kind of what the Aquarius could have become. This is kind of a look into the future from the point of view of 1983, when the original Aquarius was state of the art. And as you've seen, this also implements a lot of modern features. Unfortunately, I don't have a controller that works with this, as we've seen, but it should be super easy to pair a modern Bluetooth controller with this. Mine wasn't quite modern enough. Yeah, I think I can't say much more about this. I gave you a little bit of a hint. I don't have any peripherals that I can really use with this. The tape inputs should be compatible with the original Aquarius cassette players, probably also other cassette players, and the printer port should be compatible with the original Aquarius printers, which is a super nice feature, and obviously I don't have one of those to try, but it should be fully compatible. You should be able to run original cartridges on this, connected through VGA to rather modern monitors. It is recommended to set the monitor to a 4:3 aspect ratio, as I've done here, because that's the aspect ratio the original Aquarius was in. It is going to be stretched to 16:9 or thereabouts on modern monitors, because the VGA signal doesn't have an aspect ratio signal in the standards. So you have to set that manually on your TV or monitor, or just use a 4:3 VGA monitor. You can of course also use like CRT VGA monitors. This should just be a standard VGA output. I've not seen any complaints from my TV, which is a relatively old, cheap TV with a VGA input. Yeah, there's really not much more I can say about this at this point. It is super slick and nicely designed, everything about it. The whole GitHub is very concise and very conclusive, and everything is covered there actually. You have a quick start guide that I just basically ran you through, and you have all the information you need to program software for this thing, how to connect stuff, how to use the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth in theory. It should be super easy to do, as we've seen. Very happy with this system, and generally maybe I'm very happy that these new retro systems are still being made by enthusiasts like Frank and Sean. I've shown quite a few of these on my channel now, and I'm super happy that these are still being made and people take the time and work on these projects, which I guess is super fun to do from a developer point of view, but also it is super fun to have one of these, kind of like back in the day when you had a new computer and just started figuring stuff out and wrapped your head around a new system that you got in the 80s or maybe early 90s. And this just brings back that feeling, and you can just turn this on, program right away in BASIC. Connectivity is pretty modern on this one. No weird outputs, inputs. You can of course use the original peripherals, which is another nice feature of this. So it should be compatible with almost everything that an original Aquarius connected to. And of course, that's one way to use this. The other way to use this is to make use of the updated graphics and sound capabilities and use this as kind of a modern retro system, make software for it and tinker with it in that way. The hardware, as we've seen, is not much to tinker with. There are some jumpers that I don't know what they do, probably mostly testing things and maybe setting some things up differently, but generally this is all surface mount stuff. There's not much you can solder or anything like that yourself on this, unless you have really calm hands and good vision. But I wouldn't recommend soldering stuff to this. It's more like an end product that you can actually enjoy using or programming for. I guess that's it for today. I'm just going to play a round of Tetris in a second, but let me thank you first for watching this video, for giving me thumbs, for commenting, and I want to especially thank everybody who supports me on Patreon or on Ko-fi or on the YouTube channel memberships page or elsewhere. The links are in the video description. Thanks for watching. I'm Jan Beta. See you next time. Bye!